You are Locked On Astros Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Houston on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Feels a little bit like Groundhog Day for your Houston Astros as they lose in excruciating fashion once again to the Seattle Mariners. Welcome to the Locked On Astros Postcast live here on YouTube, Locked On Sports Houston page. I'm Michael Connor, your host. Thank you for joining us this afternoon on a gross Sunday in the city of Houston, and what turned out to be a gross result for the Astros. Had a series victory right in front of them, and then the bullpen happened. Again, this is what this season has been. Disasters left and right. We have a lot to get to throughout this show, of course. We'll get to all of it. Of course, nothing that's very good about this baseball team right now. But again, we'll get through all of it as we move along. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. Visit FanDuel.com/locked-on to get started today. So the Astros get shut down for most of the baseball game today. Bryce Miller was awesome until that third time through the lineup. And the Astros get a couple of big swings off him. Big swing from Kyle Tucker for a 2-run home run. Big swing for John Singleton for a 2-run home run. Give you a nice little lead there, correct? 4-3, feels good. All right, it's going to be tight. But you know this. Everything with this Astros team has been tough to come by this season. So, battle through it for the next couple innings and hopefully get yourself a victory, right? And felt like that should be something that you could pull off against a Mariners team that has not hit a lot this season, really at all. Even though they're at the top of the division, they're a team that has had offensive struggles kind of left and right. But I think, and I don't know if you can just tell the defeat in my voice or not. And look, I don't want to completely just poo-poo all over everything the Astros have done recently, which is play better baseball. But today is one of those moments in a season where, this is your chance to really make me, and I think others, believe that the tide is being actually turned. And the early bad season baseball that you were playing is going to go away. This reverts right back to it's not happening. It's just as simple as it gets. Every day you get further into this season is one day less that you have to figure it out, to get yourself back in the spot that you want to be. And you had a chance this weekend against Seattle to take 2 out of 3 at home, and instead you drop 2 out of 3, and you leave them in first place in the division, and now 6 games ahead of you. It's the stuff that can't happen. I don't. And look, am I Monday morning quarterbacking this to an extent? Sure. I think we all are. This is what we do when we sit in the chair, we talk about it, whatever it is. I'm as ticked off about it as the rest of you. It's just so annoying to watch. It's unbelievable. That this baseball team went out there and they keep running out guys that are showing them every reason as to why they shouldn't be used in certain spots or whatever. Like, why is Brian Abreu pitching in big leverage spots? Why? I don't have an answer for you. I know that you have to use guys in certain places. Like, you're never going to be able to avoid a guy all the time. But today, you're telling me Ryan Presley couldn't have pitched the 8th inning? I mean, why? Why is Brian Abreu, who's had I think it's 1 or at max 2 clean innings this entire season? Everybody's watched him. I know Joe Espada's seeing the same pitches I'm seeing. He cannot control his fastball at all. He has no idea where it's going. Yiner's calling for it on the outside corner. He throws it high and tight. He has no clue. He'll occasionally get lucky and land a slider over the middle of the plate or for a strike. But look at his whip. He's allowing almost 2 base runners basically per inning. You can't do that and expect it to ever be okay. And then when you do all those things, you put those guys on base. All it takes is one little dinky swing that he gave up, tie a ball game. Simple as that. And then you get to Josh Hader there in the ninth. And I want to believe, like everybody else, it was really exciting when they went out there and they bucked the trend of being the Astros a little bit, and they spent a bunch of money, and they got the most electrifying closer in baseball for the last however many years it's been. He didn't look good. Simple as that. He's had some moments. He's had some outings. And this is where you get into the danger game of paying relievers. When you pay relievers, they go out there and they stink at any time. It's simple as that. I mean, look at Rafael Montero last year. Now, he gave a run as well today. He wasn't good. But you go out there and you give a bunch of money to these pitchers, and they don't go out and perform. And then that's just such a sunken cost for a one-inning guy. I never loved the fact that you paid a closer $95 million. I don't think anybody did. You love the name value, what it brings to the team, because here's the thing. When they did that, and when in my thought process, like I think everybody else is at that point, is that it puts you over the top. Because this scenario for this Astros team was never a possibility this year in any of our minds. Why would it be? They've not been this bad. They're returning a team that was a win away from the World Series. They had some health issues, sure. But you expect them to come back out and perform at an extremely high level, compete not only for their division, but compete for a World Series title. One of the favorites. So, why would you think this is a possibility? You had every reason to believe that Josh Hader was going to be the guy for the Astros. That was this back end of the bullpen was going to be, look, all the hype that they got. Could this be one of the most historic back ends of the bullpen ever put together? On paper, sure did look like it. I've mentioned this before this season, but everybody brought up the Octavio Dotel, Brad Lidge, Billy Wagner back into the bullpen when the Astros had that back in the early 2000s. Those guys are safe. This back end is not rivaling that at all. It just goes to the whole storyline of this season. If it's not one thing, it's another. They cannot, as a team, put it all together at all. Do I know why? Absolutely not. Do you know why? Absolutely not. It might just be one of those years where you can't ever get it completely together. That happens in sports. The question is how will you react to it? Will this be a team that says, okay, we need to trade certain things here and there to reset this, to reset that, whatever it might be? Or do you stay the course, retool, and come back at it again next year with most of these guys back again? That will be the interesting thing to see as this season goes along. But I'm telling you, I'm really, for myself personally, I don't think that I can't tell any of you how to be with it. It's your personal belief. It's still only May 5th, which is wild. Usually everybody kind of goes by Memorial Day being a barometer of Major League Baseball of who's going to stick around and who's not going to. I said it a while ago, just based on the way that they're playing. I don't get the feeling that this team's going to fix it. They can have a brief moment, and they've had a brief moment where they played better baseball and gave me a little bit of hope. But if you're truly turning it and fixing it, you don't lose baseball games like today. When you climb out of the hole late, a chance to do something 2 times in this series that you had been bad at it all year, which is winning baseball games late, coming from behind, and doing it against a division rival that, now I'm not going to sit here again and say that the Mariners are like way better offensively than the Astros. They might be better with runners in scoring position, but like they have huge issues offensively, except for Josh Rojas at the top, former Astros prospect, sent off in that Zach Greinke deal to the Arizona Diamondbacks. But like this was a bit of an early statement series. Now, look, at the end of the day, Seattle's still never gotten past the Astros, so it's on them to find their way over the hump. But this series kind of mattered. And look, last year, Seattle had the Astros number. They beat up on the Astros last year, and specifically at Minute Maid Park. I'm trying to muster up the desire to be mad today. And I don't even know if I'm mad at this point. I think I'm getting to the point where I almost feel depressed watching Astros baseball. Because I just find myself going, this 1 week, again, it was nice for a minute. They took 2 in Mexico City last weekend against the Rockies. They took 2 of 3 against Cleveland. Those look pretty good. Friday night's win was great. Last night, okay, Logan Gilbert, he shoved. Tip your cap, move on from it. Come back today. You didn't get the warm and fuzzies all game, but, Bryce Miller was really good. Pitching in front of his family, all in from New Braunfels. He's been one of the better pitchers in the American League this year. And the Astros actually ended the Mariners' streak of consecutive quality starts today, which has been extremely high and historically high for them. And it just crashes and burns just like that. It's just that simple. And I don't understand it. I don't, again, have a complete answer to it. I'm just tired of it. I think that, if you were to define, I think when we look back and we're going to define each month by a word or whatever, I think April, the word was disbelief, in my opinion, because it was so bad. If I was to give the word for May, after today's game, only 5 games in, and look, they've played better in this month. Tired. Tired of having to talk about why they look so bad. Tired of having to talk about why they blew this game or blew that game. Again, you're not going to close out every game perfectly. You're going to blow games throughout the season. I get it. It happens. Every team is going to do it. When they've won 107 games in the season before, they've blown games. But it just feels like it's inevitable with this team. You sit back and you say, well, how are they going to do this today? Hoping that you're wrong. Let's talk about the one of the other glaring issues that popped up again today. Didn't give up a lot of runs, but didn't do a lot to inspire hope that he's figuring it out, that being Hunter Brown here in just a moment on the Locked On Astros Postcast. Again, thank you for joining us live today here on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe. If you know anybody that's not subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button. You can find this show anywhere that you find your podcast. Search for Locked On Astros. You'll find this show and the Locked On Astros show on that page. But we will talk Hunter Brown in just a brief moment. But first, I want to tell you, hey, you know what? Mother's Day is coming up. And you want to give mom something great? Well, why don't you give her the gift of using DoorDash? Have whatever it is that you need delivered. Flowers, gifts, gift cards, whatever that you're looking for, they're going to deliver at DoorDash. That's right. DoorDash is the spot for you. Look, does she have a sweet tooth? Yeah. You bet you know what? Your mom has a sweet. Who doesn't? I know that my mother-in-law has a huge sweet tooth. She is going to have something delivered from DoorDash that's going to quench that sweet tooth come Mother's Day. So that is a very big deal. You can get in on this right now with DoorDash. Take the stress out of all of it. There's a stress with a lot of gift giving. Just have it delivered. DoorDash. It's that simple. Why wouldn't you do it? We live in a world of simplicity, right? We like to make everything simple. Use DoorDash today. Get all your Mother's Day gifts all in one place, and go ahead and get 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on your next flour, convenience, grocery, or retail order now with code LOCKEDONMLB. That's code LOCKEDONMLB. Order using DoorDash today. Terms apply. And before we get back to our Astros discussion, I want to tell you about Monopoly Go. You've heard me talking about it, and well, for good reason. In Monopoly Go, you can team up with friends for timed tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock, and there's so much to get. Unique stickers you can trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes, cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with, hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine. And there's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So get off the bench and go download it now on Google Play or the App Store. Game on. All right, the Locked On Astros Postcast rolls on here live on YouTube. Thank you for joining us today. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, and you can join us every single time. If you hit the subscribe button, seriously, I would assume most of you that are watching live know how to use YouTube. Use YouTube, but if you are subscribed, you'll get the notifications of when we're going live, when the videos are scheduled, and of course, we'll be with you again tomorrow when the Astros play. Because in this month of May, they do not have a lot of rest. Tomorrow they will be in New York to take on, or excuse me, not tomorrow. My days are all off. They're actually off tomorrow. Tomorrow's one of their days off. Tuesday, they'll be in New York to take on the Yankees, and Justin Verlander will be on the mound. So hopefully, we'll be talking about something good there. I guess if we're trying to find a positive, at least the Astros still aren't in last place, correct? Let me look at my updated standings here. Yeah, the Angels are still in last place. There's that. The Astros at 12-22 now in the year. Just stinks. Nothing good about it at all. Mariners moved to 19-15. And one of the things that stinks is that Hunter Brown is a guy that is encouraging, right? In terms of what he has. A guy that we all thought a lot of moving forward for this Astros club. That he was going to go out there and do big things for a very long time. We all heard the comparisons, blah, 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 whatever it might be for the Astros throughout his, early days as a big leaguer. But it's not been very good this season at all. He goes out there and he has a big issue in the first inning. It's bad. Now, look, today he got through it. He stunk it up there early. And then he figured it out and got 3 straight strikeouts. Second inning, allowed a couple more guys on, got out of it. But here's the issue with all that. I think the biggest issue that I think you see with Hunter Brown when he pitches in these baseball games now is, is the fact that he will go up in counts, 0-2, 1-2, whatever it might be, constantly. And how often does it go from 0-2, 1-2 to 3-2? Almost every time. And then he's got no control, or he's got no ability to put it away, and then he runs up his pitch counts through the roof. It was kind of a miracle to an extent that you were able to get out of that game today without him giving up more than 2 runs, because he was primed to give up more. I don't know that there's a fix in season other than him pitching in AAA. I really don't. And I don't know how much that fixes him at this point. What I do know is that as you continue to move along here, how are you going to continue to run him out there every single time and let him pitch when he gives you these performances? I don't think you are. They're going to hit that point where they're going to have guys back in this rotation, and he's going to be the odd man out. I know that Spencer Arrighetti is also a guy that isn't necessarily locked into his spot. We'll see what he does in his next outing up there in New York, which will be interesting to see how he handles that pressure a little bit. But that's okay. They're in a bad spot with Hunter Brown, and they have a real big issue with it there, plain and simple. I am discouraged after last season. I'm discouraged by this season that he might not have the stuff, the wherewithal, all that you need out of a top of the rotation guy, because he's got the stuff, but all the other stuff that you need to be a top of the rotation guy. I just concerned about it, plain and simple. I'm very, very concerned about it, and I think he keeps showing you signs that you might not be able to trust him long term as an option in this rotation, and at some point you're going to have to look at bullpen type of role. Plain and simple. Stinks. Absolutely stinks that we have that being the case for this Astros team and for him right now, because this is a guy that a couple of years ago we were all looking at and saying, oh, future, ace type of the staff. He's going to be around for a long time, whatever it's going to be, and it has not been anything close to that now for basically the last 2 years, which is not encouraging one single bit. We have a few more things to roll through here on the Locked On Astros Postcast. I do want to roll through a couple of your comments, and I just saw one of them that I want to address a minute ago. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can always comment. You guys have been just going crazy today, so I can't go through all of them, but I just saw one a minute ago, so I want to mention this one because I think it's silly. But we will also discuss the Yankees series that's coming up, the importance of it, because the Astros absolutely have to go up there and find a way to get a series win, and we'll do that in just a brief second. But first, I need to tell you right now about FanDuel. It's playoff time in the NBA and NHL. Baseball, of course, is in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. All right, the final few moments here of the Locked On Astros postcast. Thank you again for joining us tonight. If you were with us last night, we went a little bit shorter. If you didn't know, Friday I was out from doing this show because I had a rough Friday with stomach bug, and I'm a lot lighter. I've had 2 meals since then. I've had 2 meals in 2 days. So we're making progress, baby. We're rolling. I wish that the 2 games that I've been able to talk about, since maybe I just need to have a stomach bug every day. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the key to the Astros winning. Me sacrificing my health and happiness for the Astros to win baseball games. I don't know. We'll talk about the Yankees game in a minute. Again, if you're new to the YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button. And if you do that, tell everybody that you know, have them subscribe to the page. You can find this show on podcast anywhere that you get your podcast. Search Locked On Astros. You'll find this one, and you will find the Locked On Astros show as well with Brett and Eric as well. I see you guys commenting all the time. Look, we're up to 158 comments during this show, so I can't always get to all of them, but I do have the page up in front of me, and I periodically like to glance down and check them out. And look, I'm not going to overdo this too much, but I saw one a minute ago from Mary Grace, which Mary Grace, thank you for watching. You say enough with John Singleton's cocky bat flips and premature celebrations. I don't think that that's very nice. If you were in that situation, would you celebrate giving your team a big home run to take the lead late in the baseball game? Yeah. Especially when you're John Singleton and you were out of baseball forever. Self-inflicted, of course, but also decided to walk away and leave it, and got his life together and did his thing and has worked his way back. I've been thrilled with the John Singleton opportunity that in terms of how he's taken advantage of it. Do I think that he's going to be the first baseman every day long term? No, of course not. But right now, if Jose Abreu came back tomorrow, guess who's not playing over John Singleton? Jose Abreu. Singleton was really good on this homestand. I'm not too worried about a bat flip. And I'm going to be honest, if you're worried about a bat flip, I don't know what you've been watching for the last few years of Major League Baseball. It's kind of in vogue. It's kind of a thing. I don't think there's one thing wrong with it. He hit a big home run. He should celebrate it. He should enjoy the moment. I think it's as simple as that they need to enjoy what they do. Hell, I mean, I don't know if I bat flipped when I was a kid when I hit home runs, but I know I celebrated like crazy. I'd celebrate like crazy again, with what they're doing out there on the field. Let's talk about these Yankees series now before we get out of here. The Yankees series is massively important, of course. For one, you'd like to avenge the fact that they swept you earlier this season in 4 games to start the year. And I don't want to see that again. It's as simple as it gets. I think that you have to go up there and take at least 2 of 3. And they're in a period of time where they've talked a lot about winning series after winning series after winning series, and that's truly what it is. Now, they didn't win this series against the Seattle Mariners, which stinks. You wanted that one, you needed that one, you didn't get it. But they need to find a way to take 2 out of 3 in New York. It's as simple as that. They've got Verlander going in Tuesday's game. Wednesday's game is going to be Arrighetti. That one I'm not going to have a lot of faith in. And then Blanco will go Thursday, which is a little bit earlier, 4:05 start. 6:05, 6:05, 4:05 for the Yankee series. Sign me up for earlier games. I always love the earlier games. And the Yankees have played well this year. They're, 22 or 23-13, I believe, is their record. They're the better team coming in. There is no denying that one right now. They are way better than the Astros. So there needs to be a big-time importance on this. It's a road trip now that the Astros are going to go on where, they've got to honestly, they've got to find a way to have a winning streak. That's really what they need to do. Because you look at the rest of this month, we've talked about it a lot. At the Yankees, at Detroit for 3, home for the A's of 4, Brewers for 3, Angels for 3. That's a long homestand where you're going to need to feast. A's on the road for 3, Mariners on the road for 4, and then they kick off a series against the Twins, which will be important as well. Again, I'm trying to always find a place for my optimism here, but I cannot get myself completely past the fact that they've been this bad and that they haven't done anything to make me think like it's suddenly like, oh, they went to New York and they swept the Yankees. If that happens, okay. Like, I'll be like, hey, all right. Like, this has got a chance now. But I'm going to have to see it to believe it. It's as simple as that. And the offense is going to have to be a little bit more consistent in this series. Now, I know that you're playing a team that's not going to pitch as well as the Mariners have, which, hey, that's helpful, right? Then you go out there and, I'm looking at you, Yordan Alvarez, big boy. Kyle Tucker, I'm not as concerned about you. You hit a home run today. Like, you've been great this year. But Yordan Alvarez right now looks lost in the box. Probably as lost as we've ever seen him. He needs to go up to New York and pop a couple into that short porch and right. Like, in the worst way to figure this thing out. So they need to do that this week up there in New York. Simple as that. Find a way to get the victories, and you can't accept anything less than 2 out of 3. I don't care that's on the road. Simple as that. That's where you're at on this season. You can't start going back and reverting to losing series. Okay, you won 2 series in a row. You lost this one. You got to win the next one. Simple as that. We'll do it again Tuesday night after Astros and Yankees in the Bronx. It'll be a win day. Verlander's pitching. Don't worry about it. It's going to happen. Enjoy the rest of it's still nasty, wet, and thunder and lightning Sunday that you got going on here in Houston. Hit subscribe to the YouTube page, of course, if you are new to it or you know anybody that wants more Astros content, tell them to hit the subscribe button. Find this anywhere that you get your podcast where you can search for Locked On Astros. Again, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We'll talk to you Tuesday on the Locked On Astros Postcast.